The transport had crashed 3 cycles ago, and Kayla was still alive. That fact alone would have astounded the Galactic Council's xenobiologists, had any survived to witness it. She limped through the crimson jungle of Vakros Prime, her breathing labored, ribs screaming with every step. The medkit strapped to her thigh was empty. The emergency beacon in her pack had died on impact. And trailing 15 meters behind her, silent as shadows, were 6 juvenile Vrelnari apex predators whose adults could tear through starship hulls with their claws. They'd been following her since the crash, watching, waiting. Kayla had seen the documentary footage. Vrelnari cubs hunted in coordinated packs, learning to kill before they learned to communicate. At 4 months old, they could bring down prey twice their size. These cubs were at least 5 months, judging by their shoulder height. They should have attacked her by now. But they hadn't. Instead, they followed. When she stumbled over exposed roots, they paused. When she stopped to rest against the bioluminescent trees, they sat on their haunches 20 meters away, their 6 eyes gleaming in the half-light. When she moved, they moved. It was unnerving. It was inexplicable. It was, Kayla thought grimly, probably just a matter of time before their curiosity turned to hunger. The pain in her side intensified as she navigated down a steep embankment, her boots sliding on the moss-slicked rocks. Halfway down, her right leg gave out. She hit the ground hard, crying out as her injured ribs protested. Her pack heavy with emergency rations, water purification tablets, and the expedition's data cores slipped from her shoulder and tumbled down the slope, coming to rest in the shallow creek below. Kayla lay there, stars dancing in her vision, unable to move. The pack was 10 meters away. It might as well have been on another planet. Behind her, she heard movement. The soft padding of massive paws on stone. This is it, she thought. This is how it ends. But the killing blow never came. Instead, something brushed past her, a wall of muscle and rust-colored fur. Then another, and another. The cubs flowed down the embankment like liquid shadow, their movements impossibly graceful despite their size. Kayla's hand instinctively went to the knife at her belt, but she couldn't summon the strength to draw it. The largest cub, a female with distinctive white markings along her throat, reached the pack first. She sniffed it cautiously, then opened her jaws. Kayla's heart sank. They were going to tear it apart, scatter the contents across the jungle floor. But the cub didn't bite down. Instead, she carefully closed her teeth around the pack's carrying strap and lifted. Kayla blinked, certain she was hallucinating from blood loss. The cub carried the pack back up the embankment, her siblings clearing a path. When she reached Kayla, she gently, impossibly gently set the pack down beside the injured human. Then she sat back, her 6 eyes fixed on Kayla's face, head tilted in what could only be described as expectation. What ... Kayla whispered, her voice hoarse. What are you doing? The cub made a sound, not a growl, but something softer, almost inquisitive. The other cubs had formed a loose semicircle around them, watching with that same eerie intelligence. Kayla's scientific training kicked in despite her pain. This wasn't hunting behavior, this wasn't predation. This was something else entirely. Something the Council's researchers had never documented because they'd never bothered to observe. Vrelnari cubs with a live subject for more than a few minutes before the cubs killed them. But these cubs weren't killing her. They were helping her. Her mind raced. Vrelnari were pack hunters, yes, but they were also social creatures with complex hierarchies. Adults cared for their young cooperatively. They shared food. They protected the weak members of their pack during hunts. And cubs learned by imitation, by observing the adults around them. What if they thought she was part of their pack? She was injured, weak, unable to carry her own kill. They had responded the way they would to any pack member in distress. They had helped. Kayla reached for her pack with trembling hands, pulling out a ration bar. The cubs watched intently. She broke it into 7 pieces, one for each of them, and one for herself. Then, wincing with the effort, she tossed the piece to the white-marked cub. The cub caught it effortlessly, sniffed it, then swallowed it whole. The others chirped excitedly. Your name, Kayla said softly, looking at the white-marked cub, is Rin. You're Rin now. Rin tilted her head again. And Kayla could have sworn she saw understanding in those alien eyes. One by one, she tossed rations to the other cubs. They devoured them eagerly, then looked at her with renewed interest. Pack behavior, she thought. I just reinforced pack behavior. I just told them I'm the provider. She struggled to sit up and immediately 3 cubs moved forward, pressing against her sides, supporting her. Their fur was surprisingly soft, their body heat comforting in the cooling jungle air. "All right," Kayla said, her voice stronger now. "All right, we're doing this. We're going to survive this together." She pointed toward the distant mountain range, where the evacuation site was marked on her failing nav unit. "That way. We go that way." Rin stood, shaking herself. She moved to Kayla's pack, gripped the strap again, and lifted it. The other cubs positioned themselves around Kayla, ready to support her if she fell. And together, 1 injured human and 6 predator cubs who should have eaten her 3 days ago, they began the walk. Behind them, hidden in the canopy, an adult Vrelnari watched the strange procession. Her own cubs, traveling with a prey creature, protecting it, helping it. The adult could have intervened. Could have ended this aberration with a single strike. But something stayed her claws. Something ancient and instinctive that recognized what was happening below. Her cubs weren't being foolish. They weren't being weak. They were learning that strength came in many forms. That survival sometimes meant adapting. That pack bonds transcended species when necessity demanded it. The adult Vrelnari turned and disappeared into the jungle, leaving her cubs to their strange new companion. And on Vakros Prime, under twin moons and alien stars, a human and her unlikely pack limped toward salvation together.